Hey everybody, this is Miss Peachy from your WCA Astronomy A class, and I am presenting this video to you just so that I can explain how to do the portfolio from Unit 4, and that's going to be Finding Stars portfolio. So let me show you um, what I have done here. Okay, so this is an alternative to what was originally included in the lesson. Now, the original lesson had the activity in Lesson 8, and I've dropped that, and I have included instead a intro page here in Lesson 9 right before the Dropbox for you to click on this link to take you to a Google Doc. It'll take you to this Google Doc, Finding Stars portfolio. Now remember that you cannot edit this document as is. You're going to either need to go to File, Make a Copy, or go to File, Download, and download it as a Microsoft Word file in order to be able to edit the document. The reason why I made changes to this is because initially the one in the lesson asked you to go outside to make observations of the night sky over 3 separate nights. So not only was it over 3 nights, which made not a lot of sense because the lesson was given and supposed to be submitted on the same day, but also it's difficult for students who live in more urban settings to be able to see the sky, and the weather makes it difficult for us to know if we're going to be able to see the sky in any given night. So this allows everybody to participate in the same way using a program called the Stellarium Online Planetarium. So you're going to click on this and open up the Stellarium Online Planetarium, and it will look like this. Now over to the left is an ad for their mobile app, which we don't need to do, but there's also some settings that you can change on here. Okay. So you can click on these lines here to make this a full screen if you want to, but I'll also need to show you how to change some settings in a couple of minutes. So a couple things you can do here is you need to set your location. It auto set for me to where I live, and the time. The time defaults to just at sunset. So as you can see, the little blue bubble here is just at the beginning of this dark stretch. This is dark, and then the blue, the lighter blue, is daylight. Now, one of the questions is going to ask you to observe an object and to fast forward time to be able to see how the stars move over a period of time. In order to fast forward time, we just have to click on this blue, and we can actually watch the sky move very quickly throughout the night. So that's how you're going to fast forward time. I'm going to go back to just after sunset again. Now you can also click and drag to view the sky in different directions, right? And I can use my scrolly wheel to zoom out and then to zoom back in as well. I like to watch the sky with west, being on. I like to watch it like look due north and have my compass direction set kind of in that way. But you can pretty much look wherever you'd like to. Now, I know not everybody knows the different constellations in the skies. So what we can do is we can click on this thing at the bottom, and it will label the different constellations, and you can see the shapes that they make. What you might notice is that some of the constellations don't have labels. All I have to do is use my scrolly wheel to zoom in, and those labels will appear. So if it doesn't have a label, just keep zooming in, and the label does appear. Okay? Same thing for stars. Stars don't necessarily have labels on them until you zoom in, and then the brighter stars are labeled. Here is the Big Dipper, part of Ursa Major. Merak and Dubhe form the pointer stars of the Big Dipper. So you can see that. Arcturus in Bootes. One of the questions asks you about the constellation, or about the star Betelgeuse. All right, where in the heck would we find Betelgeuse? So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward time a little bit. And what we're going to look for is it's right around 2 in the morning here. We're going to see the constellation Orion rise above the horizon. When we zoom in, we'll notice that the left shoulder of Orion is where we find the constellation Betelgeuse. So I just want to make sure you know where to look for that. You're going to be looking for the constellation Orion. Another question is asking you to put on the azimuth grid. That is one of the buttons at the bottom. You just have to stick that on there, and there's your azimuth grid. Remember, azimuth and altitude give us a coordinate system in the sky. It's a transient coordinate system. It's not something that is there all the time. But if we see at the very top of the screen, there are degrees that move left and right. And we'll see at the left and right of the screen, there are degrees that are positive and the 0 point of the azimuth is actually at the horizon itself. So we're moving upwards from there in degrees. Kind of just gives us a way to indicate direction. Another one of the questions asks you to put on the ecliptic. I'm taking off the azimuth. Oh, great, there we go. So that's a little bit more difficult to find. You have to go into this little 3 lines in the upper left, go to View Settings, and then click on the elliptical line. Then you have the plane of the ecliptic, which is visible. Okay, that's how you turn that setting on. I'm just going back to the questions. Let's see here. I believe that is everything you need to be able to do to answer the questions on the sheet. So your job is to read these questions and put your answer in place in the middle column. And the points associated with it are on the right. So this portfolio is worth a total of 15 points. When you've completed it, just go ahead and submit this into the Dropbox. You'll have to submit it as a Word document. So when you are done with your edits, if you had made a copy, you're just going to go to download as a Word, save it to your computer, and then you can upload that Word document into the Dropbox. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you enjoy the Stellarium Planetarium. If you've got questions, feel free to reach out to me. Have a fantastic day, everyone.